Thank you for joining us. I'm Diana Davis. 4th of July is nearly here, but for some, celebrations have already kicked off. Calls for fireworks have risen here in Jonesboro, despite an ordinance prohibiting them in city limits. Alejandra Hernandez spoke with police about how they handle these calls. It's new at 6.
Fireworks have been flying both off the shelves and into the skies as early as June, and Jonesboro police have taken notice.
From the 1st of June through today, we've already had 21 calls that the caller knew it was fireworks going off.
Police Chief Rick Elliott said calls like this increase exponentially around the 4th of July, despite a city ordinance that bans them.
Now, sparklers like these typically don't cause too much noise, but what the city ordinance here says is that you can't fire any of these larger fireworks in city limits, but they still tends to happen.
And for the younger kids, that's kind of the fireworks that they gravitate to.
Violating the ordinance could result in a Class C misdemeanor or even a $500 fine, but the chief says officers usually take a lighter approach.
Generally, our first response will be just to give a warning. We try to be sympathetic and understanding that, okay, you may not have understood that there's an ordinance.
The chief said that sympathy has its limits.
After the normal bedtime for people, 10, 11 o'clock, anything going on after that, then we certainly are going to respond and deal with those situations because it becomes a public nuisance at that point for sure.
Chief Elliott said responding to these calls also ties up resources at the department.
So you're just not going to get to it and address those calls. We have other high priority calls that we have to deal with and address, and fireworks is just not at the top of the list, unfortunately.
Chief Elliott said even though police want to let people have their fun, they should keep their neighbors in mind.
Be considerate of your neighbors and others around. Shooting these large artillery type shells is very annoying for some.
Reporting in Jonesboro, Alejandra Hernandez, KATE News.
Alejandra, thank you. Chief Elliott also recommended shooting fireworks in unpopulated areas.